Hey everyone, and welcome to the second webinar in this series. How do other restaurants use resOS as a booking system? Today I will speak with Johannes from Kurhaus, and we will dive into how he uses the system. And take a look there. Johannes, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome.
Hi, Emil. Hi, everyone.
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks.
Good. Yeah, so I think we can just slowly get started on it. So basically, just before we start, if anyone has any questions, please ask them in the Q&A section in the Google meeting. You can do that in the bottom right corner. There should be these three dots where you will be able to see this Q&A where you can ask questions. And my colleague Maya, who's also on the meeting, she will watch the questions and ping me during the meeting with them. So we'll go over them. I will try to incorporate them during the webinar if it makes sense, and else I will or we will take them in the end of the meeting after we've seen how Johannes used the system. Awesome. Also, another thing that is created a poll with a small question. So if you're looking at that, it would be awesome if you could also answer that for the viewers. Thank you. Yeah, that was the second one here with the poll. Awesome. So the agenda would be a short introduction here of Johannes and his business, and of me and resOS. And then we'll look at some of the challenges Johannes had as a restaurant owner before using the system. Some of the features they use today, what are the most used features and how are they using them. Then Johannes will share his screen and we'll dive into the system and see a bit more in depth how they are controlling all the things. And then we'll take a short tip and tricks, small things within the system that might be awesome to know, that aren't maybe that or are a bit hidden. And then in the end, we will go through the question that was made during the call and go over that and answer any potential questions. So, Johannes, would you mind give a small introduction of you and your of Kurhaus?
Yes, thanks, Emil. Hi, everyone. I'm Johannes. I run a hotel in Switzerland, in the Swiss Alps of Lenzerheide. We're a hotel with 4 indoor outlets. So in the hotel, we have 3 restaurants. We have and a cocktail bar and a nightclub. That's actually 5. So we're quite a seasonal business. We're very busy in the winter, busy in the summer, and now this time of year, it's not so much going on. So it's quite low season. We use resOS now since 3 years, I think, 2.5, 3 years. And we're more than happy with the system.
Yeah, I just looked it up actually, Johannes. I saw you actually created your account in 2020, so it's actually just over 4 years ago. Yeah.
All right, that's good.
Yeah. So time flies. No, thank you. And for those who don't know me, my name is Emil, and I'm the CEO of resOS, and I've been working on this system for the last 6 years. Been both a lot in customer service, but also developing a lot in the beginning. So I also have a lot of knowledge about how it works technically and what's possible and not. So let's just move on to the next slide here. So the challenges and opportunities, Johannes, you had before getting started, so to say.
Yeah, so when we did paper and pen reservations before we started with resOS. Basically, we had a folder in the reception, or when people called, we put the names on the list, and then before the shift, we transferred all the reservations into the paper where we had like a table plan printed out kind of thing. And at some point, I just realized that okay, this is no more. It's not the 90s anymore. We need to find a digital solution. And I was testing like I think 8, 9, or 10 different systems before I found one which for me was first of all modern in the interface. Because I realized we're a young team, everyone has to work with the same system. So for me, it's important to have an application which is modern. You use swiping, you use the interface which we're used to, because most apps were really outdated, like old school shit, basically. So that's where I started first checking out resOS, like, wow, this looks good. And it had a lot of the features which I needed, which I thought I needed, because I realized quite soon that no app had all the features I wanted. So the challenge was, first of all, to think a little bit outside the box of, okay, how do we do reservations now? Does it have to be exactly? Do you have to do it exactly the same way with the new system? Because the system has its own features and has also a lot more experience with other restaurants than I have. So I was starting to think, hey, maybe the way we do it isn't the best. So the challenge was to, okay, this is the system now. We decided on resOS, and it has these features, and we have to work with them. Not to, and a lot of employees like, no, we can't do this anymore. Yeah, but you can do it this way, because this is a new system now, and not just think that the way we did it is always was the perfect way, and just to respect that there are new features and maybe other ways of getting to the goal. So I think it's important to whenever you try out a new system to embrace the features and try to use the features and how the system wants to use them, because there is a lot of thought behind it. Way more than with our old system. So there were some things we had to change, and a big challenge was to motivate the employees to use this new system, because it's a change for everyone. But we were really, really strict there. There was no going back to the old school. One guy in the restaurant, he always put it down in the beginning, the reservations on a paper anyway. Like, no. We use the system now. We have to get used to it. And really motivate and encourage everyone, because if you use a system like this, everyone has to use it. You can't just have some of them being on the train. So it's important to motivate the employees to use it. To trust the system is equally as important that it works. Before you had a double, you put down the everything in pen and paper. Now it was suddenly digital. Like, hey, can we trust that no information is getting lost, or that it works, that the customer gets their messages? Sometimes we have a customer coming and say, oh no, I didn't get the notification that something was changed. Like, yes, you actually did, because we know that it that is foolproof. Then you can actually check them and show them the notifications they get on their email and as a message on the cell phone. So that's very important to trust in the system, that it does its job, because it does, and also to motivate the employees to be, because it is a big change, changing a system, even if it's from paper and pen or from another system. It is a change, and you will have to change, probably tweak some things in the way you work with the reservations.
Yeah. One thing I've thought about, because that's something, especially the last part of it, having trust in the system, right, can be a bit difficult in the beginning, right? Is the system handling the reservations correctly? Is it placing it correctly on the tables? All this kind of stuff, right? When you started, can you remember, did you do it automatically, or did you handle it manually in the beginning to, slowly build up trust? Or was it just, okay, we're going to go with this, and then we'll see how it goes?
No, I didn't trust it at all. So I did everything manually. I just let the bookings come in, and then I sorted them manually. but quite soon realized, hey man, I mean, what the system can do automatically, let it do it, because it saves you work. But I realized that I want to also have the possibility to manually change things, to change tables, or to seat too many people on one table. Even though the system cannot do that, I can do it because I know I can fit another chair in the corner. So that's the good thing, to kind of use it semi-automatically and always do your own changes.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. But that's also what we hear, and it's totally understandable that you go from, especially if you go from pen and paper, right, to okay, now you put all the trust in the system. You have to kind of like build up that trust, right? But yeah, okay. So let's move on. Then the features here, the ones you wrote down to me that are the most important for you. Can you try to explain them a bit?
Yeah, we do seatings in 3 of the restaurants. We do early seating from 6 to 8, and we do one from 8 to 10, which is a very, very, very important feature. That's where most other softwares fail, because they didn't have really good setting for setting up different seatings. So for us, it's vital, because we have more restaurants of the same kitchen where they share a kitchen. So you have the first seating in one restaurant, second seating in the other restaurant, third seating in the first restaurant, and they're kind of overlapping. And we do, during the high season, we do even 3 seatings. In the low season, only 1 seating. And that's where we can really play with the opening hours in different locations to do different seatings, which is it's a little bit work to set up, but wow, it's really worth it, because then it's all automized for the whole winter season, all the seatings and all the different dates. We have regular opening hours, but then you have the high season, which is 2 weeks, which is every day is like a Saturday. There we want to kind of extend the opening hours a bit, so we can play with special opening hours on special days. And then when it's not a special day, it just falls back to the regular opening hours, which is very, very useful.
Yeah. And I was actually about to write to you that we shouldn't go too much into the opening hours, because I think you might be the customer in our system that has, the most complex setup.
Okay.
But it's also, but I think what it also shows is that it's extremely flexible to your needs, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it goes both ways. It can be really complex, but it also allows you for the really flexible with seatings and handling multiple restaurants and areas at the same time, right? Yeah, then you have written the, sorry.
Yeah, we use the tags and customer profiles, which is a really cool feature where we can tag guests if they are like with a kind of flag them if they're a VIP or like a local, if it's a recurring customer, if it's someone who married with us, we give them their own tag. So whenever they reserve again, we see that in the reservations, like, wow, this is a local coming, or this is one who's been here many times, or this is a prominent guest, whatever. Which is it's a nice thing. Maybe you want to do something with the reservation and make sure they have a good table. We use custom fields where when you reserve a table, you can add if you have kids with you, so we can prepare a kids chair. If you have dogs, so we give you a table at the corner and prepare like the dog bowl with water. If you have an allergies or intolerances, we use custom fields, quite useful. And the wait lists, which is I think new since last year, is for us also a really cool feature, because we fill up on the weekends. And we have people setting themselves up on a wait list, which we normally kind of can find a table somewhere, or split a table in 2 and fit another party in there. Or so it's good to have them on the wait list, and then you can, or because normally before the shift starts, maybe someone's canceling, so you can just move them from the wait list down into the seating.
How are you handling the wait list? Are you calling them in that case, or are you just writing, changing it from a waitlist to a booking and then writing them in the system, or how do you normally go around with that?
Yeah, if it's early enough, it's like 3, 4, 5 hours before the shift. We just pull them down. We change them into to seating and write them also a message, SMS or email using reSOS, so they have a notification. If it's really close into, we would call them and say that we have a table free for them.
Cool, that makes a lot of sense. Awesome. I think let's go into the next one. I think that's actually where we jump into the system to take a look at a look at some of the things we just or you just talked about, Johannes. So please go ahead and share your screen, and then I'll stop sharing here.
All right. Where you want me to start?
Yeah. So I think it could be interesting to just take a look at a normal day, with the bookings and how you handle it.
So let's scroll back this is last Saturday. Here we got our different seating areas. This is the Kurhaus bar, pizzeria. Restaurant Saal was closed last weekend, so we only had the pizza open. And this is our 2 shifts. So the first shift start 8 to 8:15, stops here. So we set the first seating to an hour and a half, and the second seating is much longer. And we try to give it a gap of 15 minutes in between, or in the meantime, maybe even 30 minutes, to have enough time to reset the tables. We also use the features of seating the guests, so this is how they look before they arrive, and we just put them unseated when they're here, so everyone knows that the table is occupied. And if they leave, we try to use the left feature ow also, because that could happen. They leave earlier and then the table is already ready, which is a useful thing to know.
Yeah. One thing just to add to that as well, if you don't have a booking coming in after that, and if you change the status to leave, then it would also open up the table earlier, right? So let's say it's for 2 hours by default, but you set them to leave after 1 hour, then it's actually open for guests to come in earlier from the online booking flow.
Yeah, exactly. Here we have a guest which put something in the custom fields. So they want to have a kids chair. This is in German. Kids chair. This would be baby chair. So we have 2 different types, and they're hotel guests. So, which is good for us to know that they're hotel guests, because they maybe we can interact with them differently. They wrote something here also. Yeah, 2 adults and 1 kid. No, 2 kids, 1 baby also. And here is the smiley says that this guest's been here before, already reserved the table. So I see here that she made 4 bookings, which for me is quite useful. I can click on the profile and see here all the time she reserved the table. Actually, it was more than 4, but she canceled 2 times. But actually, as a rule, if someone reserved more than 4 times, we make them regular. So actually, I'll do that, which will show up the next time when she reserves the table. She will get the flag here, whatever. That's quite nice.
Yeah, and the funny thing is actually that smiley on your booking, the one you just showed, how many times they've been there and what was the last time they've been there. It's actually, a feature request, right, that you made. I think it's 3 years ago when I visited you. You made this, and after that visit, we ended up implementing this because it's a really cool feature to quickly get an overview of the guest. When was the last time here and how many times they made bookings, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we have nice tables and we have the less nice tables. And yeah, for sure, if you have a regular customer coming in again, and sometimes you could check, it's the Patricia, whatever, and she normally sits at table 4 maybe, or table 3, so maybe you should put her there again, and she'll get really flashed, and she realizes she always gets the same table. I saw before here also Sandra Brunner checked before, and this was a Hawk-sized par means wedding guests. So they had a wedding, they married with us at some point. So we use that as a tag also, which is nice. Maybe you can ask them when it was, and just have an interaction with the guest that way. So that's a cool feature we use.
No, sorry, go ahead.
So also quite useful for us is the drag and drop function, because we use it a lot. To reorganize the seat plan, to optimize it, to be able to drag a reservation to another table. And if you didn't know that, if you drag it here, you can drop it on a different time, which is probably not the thing you want to do. So you probably want to just drag it drop it another table. So if you drop it here, it will automatically land on the same time. Because what I realized, if you drop it in the wrong time, it will release a message to the customer that we changed the seating time. Then they'll call you.
Yeah. Yeah, and about the custom, how many custom fields have you set up in the system now?
We have set up.
I think it was that actually. Yeah.
So allergies. That's it. We use it as a text field, so you can write if you have allergies. It's really useful. People write if they're gluten or lactose intolerant, so we can prepare different bread or stuff like that. If you bring kids, so you can choose to have a kids chair or a baby chair. If you bring a dog, yes, my dog is coming. Or if you're a hotel guest, those are the custom fields.
Do you have these? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm quite curious what other would use custom fields, other restaurants. If there's anything else which we didn't think about, which could be useful.
Yeah, I saw. I seen a very common thing is also birthdays. You know.
Oh yeah. True.
Yeah, and then do you use the custom fields? My question was, do you use the custom fields on all the opening hours, or it's only on certain? Because it's based on the opening hours, right? So you could have some custom fields on Friday and not have some others on Monday, for example, right? But I think in your case, most of them make sense every day, from my understanding.
Yeah, they make sense every day, but actually it's a good idea, because then you can use custom fields only for certain days. Yeah, no, actually, no, we only use them. We use the same custom fields on all the opening hours in all restaurants.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and then one thing you did mention actually that I think we talked about some while ago was actually like the payment option that you thought about maybe start using it, right, or something like that.
Yeah. So we'll start to use that in the winter for the nightclub to make. I did it already. Wait, it's done here. Yeah, it's in progress. Cinema is the nightclub. So these are the lounges in the nightclub. Below left, below right, up left, up left, up right, up left. Sorry. So we will use these opening hours to set a requirement payment for the lounge. For its value, or either we're not sure if we're gonna set a fixed price for the lounge or a price per person. Now we do price per person now, but they pay when they arrive, or they do prepayments other way, which is quite a hassle. So we will set a table for each lounge and and use that as its own opening hour, and then set the prepayment for the lounge. You can online, you can just book the lounge and pay for that straight away.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's also, as we talked about earlier, it's something we've seen a lot of restaurants start doing, as a standard also to reduce no-shows and so on, right? To take either a prepayment up front that you can deduct from the bill in the end, or a no-show, fee, right? Where you authorize the card upon booking completion, and then you can charge that card in case there's a no-show, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it makes much sense.
I haven't really got around to we were discussing that also with no-shows, and to how to, if we want to start a no-show fee where you have to add a credit card. I don't know, here no one does it, and it's not custom in Switzerland to do that. I know in Zurich, for example, they're starting to, but here we're a little bit afraid to start using that kind of feature, to be kind of aggressive in that way. But I would prefer to do it, because we have a lot of no-shows, especially in the winter. So yeah. I hope the trend is coming also, so we will jump on it. And
yeah, that's definitely from what's happening, from what we see at least. A lot of restaurant owners have the same feeling. They think it's a bit too aggressive, or afraid to scare away potential customers with having to put up the upfront payment, right? But we also see more and more starting to use it because of so many no-shows, right? So, but it is a very annoying problem.
So what we'll probably do, because I think we'll start it this winter, but we'll do it for 2 tables, because we have 2 big tables, like one in the Kurhaus bar for pizza, and where you can sit 20 people. So yeah. I'm thinking about creating an opening hour for this table, and you can book it with prepayment. So 15 to 20 people, you can book this table, but only with prepayment. Boom, that's it. Because we had no shows on these tables, also quite devastating to have a no show on a huge table. So basically, if you want to book a table from 15 people and up, you can do that online, but prepayment.
Yeah.
So I think we'll try that for the winter. Yeah. So for on the small tables, no, that's all right. I mean, if there are no shows, they are flagged. So like this guy or girl.
Yeah.
One no show and one cancelled. One deleted. So actually showed up once. So yeah, she's not getting the prime table when she arrives. That's for sure next time. But she showed up this time. So okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So actually, I just saw a question regarding this no-show. Or we got a question regarding the no-shows. If there's any features beside no-show fee to actually avoid no-shows. And there are a few things you could do in the system. One of the things we've seen is quite simple, but it's actually using SMS notifications. We have almost, I think it's 27% last time we looked at the data. So if you use SMS notifications, you reduce no-show, at least compared to those who doesn't, quite a bit. Another thing is you can set up reminders in the system. I don't know if you have that, Johannes.
Not yet. I saw it that it's a new feature, right?
Yeah, we have the reminders, and then there's confirmations. So that's 2 different things. Reminders is basically just send out a reminder a day before the booking or an hour before. Confirmations, which is a new feature, is that you can set it up. So let's say 1 hour before the booking, the system will send out a notifications to the customer saying they have to confirm that they're showing up on the booking. And let's say you set it to, if they don't answer within a half an hour, the booking will automatically be deleted, meaning that you force the customer to actually take some action on the day that they have the reservations. And you can also set it up so the system don't automatically delete it, but you handle it manually. So there are some features there you can activate to combat no-shows. And it's actually been quite a big focus point for us, because we heard from so many restaurant owners that they have issues with no-show, and it's both in Switzerland, it's both in Denmark, and in UK, it's everywhere basically. Especially after Corona, it's been a real hassle for a lot of places.
Yeah, so I mean, if you would have a restaurant with maybe 10 tables, I would do it definitely, because I mean then you can't can't allow no shows. It's not possible.
Yeah.
We have a lot of tables, so it's not. I mean, if we have one no show an evening, a table for 2 or 4, it's not crazy. We maybe feel it with a walk-in. So for us, I don't think we will use that feature of having everyone, because we have on a busy night we have, I don't know, 250 or 100 reservations, so that would be a lot. But what we do when we check, when we see big tables and you see that they may be reserved a long time ago, because we now get reservations for February, for March. If we check for the weekend, we see, okay, these guys reserved like 3 months ago. Maybe I would write them, say, hey guys, thanks for your reservation. What's up? Are you good? Or I don't know, somehow to confirm the reservation using the message tool. I would.
Yeah, that makes sense. And also, just I saw there was another question about the no-show fees. If it's possible to charge for a part of the group that didn't show up, and that's not possible right now. So the system will only will charge for the all the people on the reservation if you charge the no-show fee. But it's definitely something we will add as an update to the system. Yeah, and then I just you quickly was it in the top of that screen showed like the wait list? You have it there, right?
Yeah. So this was last weekend, 2 weeks ago. We were quite full. We had 3 people on the wait list. Actually, I don't know myself what happened to them. I know she got the table somewhere, but we'll click on them here. And maybe if as soon as there is a wait list, if I do the seating, I would write them, hey, at the moment we're full, but we're checking for a table for you, and I'll let you know within half an hour, maybe if it's in the afternoon, just to get them. I know that they get a notification already that you've joined our wait list, blah blah. But I want them to have to get something from me also, like a personal message, so they get assured that it's not just a system taking care of the reservation. Because I guess they're also looking at other restaurants to get a table. And also, I mean, we had people on the wait list. I kind of switched around and gave them a seat somewhere at some point, and then they didn't show up. And like, no, we got a table somewhere else. Like, yeah, all right, okay. So it's a great thing, but yeah, just because you just pull them down, because you can actually pull them down here and just seat them somewhere, and then they are automatically seated, and not seated, but they get a reservation. But it's important to write or call them as well to double check if they get the message.
Yeah, it will just be converted to a booking basically, right? Yeah. And then the system will send out the notification that goes along with it. Cool. Let me just see here. Are you only using the schedule view? Or are you also using the other views of the bookings?
Calendar view we use. I get to get a good overview of this is the month now. It's a slow month, but we don't got much going on. But it's good in the season to have a good overview of the reservations. Also, to have a reference of last year, because because I mean, a year after, like next October, I will probably go back and see, hey, what was up October last year, or November last year? How was the weekends? I had 60, 24, 39, so pretty much nothing going on. So it's really useful for planning for staff. So if I look at a busy month, January this year, the last winter, you see weekends were crazy. We had 400, 340, 420, and also here during the week was nothing, crazy. So that's the tool we use for also doing the schedule, because we reference to the restaurants what was up last year, to kind of have a ballpoint of how much staff we should plan.
No, yeah, and then what about do you also have the floor plan?
List view we don't use.
No.
Because it's important for us to have the view of the different outlets, and I think this plan is the one we use definitely the most. The floor plan here, since we have all our restaurants in one account to be able to switch reservations between the restaurants, we also have the floor plans all here. It's a little bit a mess, but I know you put in a new feature to do different floor plans. I haven't got around to programming in different floor plans yet. This view we use mostly for new employees before they before they know the table numbers by heart.
Yeah.
So they have a good overview of the restaurants when they seat guests. And this is a prime example of something which I thought when we switched the system was super important, because we used the visual seating plan before. We used pen and paper. It was very important for me to have that plan, the visual plan. So in the beginning, we were always focused on this until we realized, hey, I know the numbers, the table numbers by heart. So this is way more. Now you see the whole evening, the whole flow of the evening with all the reservations and how much time is in between the seatings. And according to that, you can react and maybe switch these two tables because, I don't know, for some reason that you have more space between reservations. So the one we use the most is definitely this one, the call schedule.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And as you said, the floor plan or the multiple floor plan is a new feature we launched a month ago, right? So that maybe can make it a bit more or a bit easier to keep an overview, right? If you can then split it into different views, right? And as we also talked about, it's also possible to create a floor plan for a specific event. So if you have a wedding, a Saturday where the tables are completely different, right? You can create that and then use that for that day.
Yeah. So my plan is to do one for New Year's Eve, because we have a different seating on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
I haven't got around to do it yet, but
no. And then the last thing we're actually working
check
on.
it out.
Yeah. And then the last thing we're actually working on now is the possibility to also add shapes and objects to the floor plan. So you can add, the bar or the wall or a door, so to say. So it's easy to also see where is the table placed in the room. Yeah. And that's something we're just finishing up right now.
But you know what you should do? You should put the chairs a little bit closer together so the tables won't be so big.
I'll note it down. Yeah. No, that's great. That's great. Yeah, thanks, Johannes. That was a really useful, I think. Actually, the next part was to take a bit look at some tips and tricks. You already showed some with some of those I wanted to show with the drag and drop. I think that's very useful, both for the time and the tables, and move them between different areas. Another thing is, one thing we try to be very aware of is to let the information be as accessible as possible without having to click forth and back between all the bookings. So, for example, having the smiley on the booking there, right? Yeah. Or having exactly. And the messages and the notes, so you can actually see. You don't have to go into the booking to see, is there a note on this booking? You can actually see, oh, there's a note on this booking, and then go in and see what it is, right, in details. Yeah, so I think that's very important. Then if you can you scroll up a bit, then in the top of the menu, not menu, but in the top of the screen on the right side, all the way, we have the three dots where there are some shortcuts. And I'm actually a bit disappointed, because you're really good in the beginning to add these funny notes, right, to your to your employees. So basically, add a note for the day. That if there's an important event or something that everyone in the restaurant needs to be aware of, it's possible to add a note that will show up that day. And as you saw in some of the other ones, there was the possibility to also close the opening hours for the day up there. Yeah, so basically, you can close the bookings for today. So let's say that you're very busy and you have a lot of walk-ins, and you don't want to take more bookings for the day. You can close it quickly without having to go in and change the opening hours. So that's a shortcut, and the same with the interval. Basically, you can go in and say, oh, for the next 2 hours we're busy. So just close them there, and you don't have to go into settings, opening hours, and then back and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I wanted to mention is the feedback functionality. I don't know if you actually use that to get feedback from customers.
No, we don't use it. No.
No.
I do? No, I'm sure. No.
But basically, allows the system to send out notifications to the customer or the guest after they've been there, asking them how was their visit, and if they would like to recommend it to a friend. And then if they choose yes or no, and then it will also ask them to rate on the value, the food, the service, and so on from a 1 to 5 scale, which you then automatically can get inside the system in the report sections to see the feedback over time, how it evolves. And the last thing you can do is also to add a custom link to a platform where you would like to have this feedback. So let's say you want reviews to be on Google, you can add a Google link there. If you want them internally in the system, you can leave it blank and the feedback would come in, so it's internally for you to use to maybe improve, right? And then whenever you feel ready, you can direct the customers or the guests to Facebook or TripAdvisor or whatever it could be, right? Wherever your review platform is, right? So that's also something that could be very valuable for both for getting new customers, but also to keep improving, and see where can I improve my business.
I have one more thing, which is which I use in the winter season. I use it quite a lot. It's the let's go. Let's take a reservation. It's the message feature to write the message to the guests. Quite often they write something. This is it. Maybe they write, yeah, we have a birthday, or like my husband is turning 35, or just they just write, hey, we're really looking forward to having dinner in your restaurants. Or then it's a really nice interaction to write to the guests, like, hey, thanks for reservations, cool to, or maybe I see that they've been here before, like, hey, nice that you're coming again. I really look forward to having you here. So you already have a really positive interaction with the guests, and it gives them a really good, cool feeling, and they feel valued, which is the real last thing. And I also use that sometimes, like last year when we were really busy, and I wrote some guests, reserve the table for 8, and like, hey, if you want to have a drink before the reservation, go to the bar, because we're really busy at 8. So if it's okay for you, you can show up also 8:15, 8:30, just to have the flow in the restaurant a little bit better, just to inform them that we're really busy at 8. And just if it's okay for you to come later, yeah, you can show up 8:15. That's also right. But yeah, you can go have a pre-drink at the bar. A little bit upselling, and also kind of just managing the flow of the restaurant, just with and also it's an interaction with the guests, so it's nothing that can go wrong. It's just it's a positive thing.
Yeah, that's I think that's great. Yeah, awesome. Thanks a lot, Johannes, for the showing.
Thanks, man.
I think we can go to now we also talked a bit about the tips, so I think the next thing would be the Q&A. So if anyone has any questions, they can go in the bottom right corner of the Google Meet and click the free dots there, and then in the Q&A section, write their questions. I can see there's 2 questions already, so let's just start with those. The first one here: is there a way to set up special opening hours for a block of dates rather than having to do individual dates? Yeah, so right now it's not possible because that's kind of like a special opening hour, right? And you can only create a special opening hour for a day at a time, if I remember correctly. But
Is
it's
it a
definitely.
range also?
Can you do that? Maybe I'm wrong now.
Let's go down here.
I think you can do it for a range, but that's only if it's closed, if I remember correctly. Yeah, but that's the closed section, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
No worries. Yeah. So, but it's definitely something we want to add to the flexibility because yeah, it's as you right. It's annoying to have to create them for a whole month, right? Then it could be you created one for December as a normal opening hours, and then created for start of January, depending on how far in advance you're taking bookings. Yeah. Then the second question here, I would like to know if you plan to make an agreement with the Make platform for automations. Not that I know of. I'm not 100% sure what the Make platform is, to be honest. But what we do have is an open API, and that API can be used to connect with other systems. We already have some with served with Google and Zapier, which can connect with other systems. So it could be there could be an automation between our system through Zapier to Make a platform. But I actually never heard about it. But I'll take a look at it after this meeting to see what it is. Then I saw there was another one coming in. Just here. It would be helpful for staff quickness if bookings made manually was similar layout to the guest who book online. It shows them really quickly what is available by using rules set up, and by pressing the booking button at the top, we find it difficult to make a booking. Okay. It's interesting. What is the difference? I'm not sure I understand what is the difference between when you make them online and manually. Is it because there's a lot of...
No, it's like using the walk-in. I think that's actually useful because if you put a booking here, you can't see that you can't see the difference that it's an online booking or it's booking that someone made in the rest. Or like if someone called, that someone from the employees made the booking. So you can't see here. I mean, I know the walk-ins for sure because we name them walk-ins. I guess that could be a good feature.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see. That makes sense. Okay. Interesting. Thanks a lot for that.
We also never use this because we click just where we seat them. If there's a walk-in, we seat them here, or if there is a reservation.
Yeah.
I just call it Emil.
Yeah. No. Thank you a lot. Yeah, Angela, for that suggestion. I'll definitely note it down. And then we have Samantha. Another question. I just want to say this app has been super helpful and useful. Thanks a lot. I'm glad you like it. Sorry?
Yeah, just noticed something. A cool feature is the color coding.
Oh yeah.
For table, for one reservation over several tables. Because sometimes I put table 1 together with table 4 and 5, and the reservation stretch over 5 lines. But you see that it's one reservation because it has the same color.
Yeah, exactly. No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and then I think, is that all the questions, Maya? Or did we have anything else? Then lastly, I just wanted to announce, so to say, that one thing we already talked about, something we are working on now is the shapes and the objective to the floor plan, so you can add those. That will be launched soon. And another big thing we soon will be launching is the integration to Facebook Meta. So it will be able to get reservations directly from your Facebook profile and your Instagram profile. And we're in the last phase of that development, and hopefully we'll be able to launch that soon. So you can get bookings directly from those platforms. It's something we also have integrated today with Google, and it's just a good way to get even more bookings from those platforms. And I think that's all. Thank you a lot again for. Oh wait, that's just one thing from Angela here. Sorry, just to explain myself a bit better. If you go onto the dashboard and click the booking page. Yeah, okay, I understand now. Yeah. So basically, you want the guest to be able to see the booking, the tables available.
Okay.
Yeah, I see. That's it's actually something we talked about, but it's not something we have at the moment.